like using more than one subject area, creating a basic OTBI analysis using BI Composer or Wizard, how to assign reports to a user and how to copy it from one location to another location. Now also we have seen how to do column formatting, how to repeat the values of one column for based on another for set of columns, like for supplier site, how to read the supplier site information for uh, each supplier name, or how to suppress it using value suppression in the column formatting. Now we'll cover few more topics here. First one is graphical view report. Basically in the OTBI report we will include graph this time using the wizard or uh, AI composer. uh, Next topic is how to call the fusion application forms through OTBI reports. This is called as a drill through report. Whenever we do call an application page from an entry, uh, a row entry, or a value in the column, in a particular, or maybe invoice ID or invoice name or whatever, any column value, each entry of that particular column would be a hyperlink, and if you click on that link, an application page will open. So if an application page opens, it's called as drill through. Otherwise it's called as whenever we navigate to another, from one report to another, or one analysis to another analysis, it would be called as drill down report. So drill through report, how to do it, what are the settings for which uh, uh, offerings, because it's not available for all the offerings. So whichever offerings, how to do, what are the settings, all these we'll see through. We'll see a practical for that. Then we will see drill down reporting, um, meaning from a master report, from a summary report to detailed report, how we will navigate. Then we will also see how to, yes, till this thing I think we'll cover. And we will add one more live for the rest of the topics today. All the notes for all these topics that I'll be covering are already present in the drive link I have shared with whoever has requested. So all the notes are already present there. Hope you get the access to them. If you have any questions, you can comment on the post uh, under the of this channel. So we'll start with graphical view reports. So basically the standard navigation from tools, then we'll go to reports analytics. Now we are using BI composer method or the wizard. So in the reports analytics there are two things, one is browse catalog, another one is create. So in create we have a report and analysis, we can create both. So we'll click on analysis. Subject area, here I am searching as with select the supplier. I've written a shortcut in a shortcut form. This is nothing but supplier real time. So I have selected supplier real time subject area. Then I'll click on continue. The very first step is to select the columns. So now in this, in suppliers, this is my dimension, and again we'll go to supplier profile and I'll select the attribute supplier number, name and type. This is my first dimension. Second is supplier sites. In supplier sites, supplier site details, I will select state. And the third dimension is supplier counts. Here it is a measure because it's basically like in the supplier counts, what I have is number of suppliers and number of supplier sites. So here this is called as measure column. So anything that gives a count kind of thing, so that would be assumed as measure. Whereas fact column is more of like when you're doing some kind of maybe an aggregate or anything, and you have created that, so that we can create those kind of columns. So those are called as facts. So here the measure column is supplier counts. It's already present. This is supplier count. Under that we will select number of suppliers as well as number of supplier sites. So these two things, number of suppliers and number of supplier sites, both are measure columns. And how do you identify a measure column is it has a yellow icon. Now, why I have selected a measure column is that whenever I am creating a graphical report, or I want to do the graphical representation, at least it's a mandatory thing to remember that at least one measure column should be present, at least one. So I have selected two here. So for the any kind of graphical representation, I should select at least one measure column. So we'll go next. We'll select views title. We'll give the name. Table will select as table. Graph. Here I am selecting bar now. You can select pie or other kind of graphical representations as well. So I have selected bar. As soon as I select here, or as soon as I select among all the options, an error comes. And in the preview, here we apart from all these options, title, table, graph, and then layout again I'm selecting as table above graph, and I have clicked on checkbox preview for getting a preview of how the report looks like. But as soon as select graph as bar, an error comes. The output won't be able to show the bar kind of my graphical representation as bar. What is the reason? We'll see later. So the next step is edit table. We have a table layout in where we have all the columns selected, all the columns that I have, all the attributes or the columns which I have selected, they come here. I can rearrange their sequence via this. I can change the column sequence. We have a move to option. I can move to the prompt for section by and excluded. We have discussed all these things earlier. Um, now in the additional, apart from this table layout, we also have three things: prompt for, section by, and excluded in the additional layout options. So what we do is, here I am selecting for prompt for. So my output, I want that I'll select supplier type here, and after selecting clicking on supplier type here, I'll select here move to and select prompt for option, meaning that my output would be based on the supplier type, what kind of supplier type I am shown. So once I click on move to and select prompt for the column supplier type, it comes into this section, prompt for. This will be filled with supplier type. This is moved from table layout to prompt for section. um, okay, so after this, as I said, for whenever I select a graph, edit graph option comes only when the option here in the select views graph is selected, any kind, maybe a pie chart or a bar or whatever. Now here in the edit graph option, how does it work? First one is the subtype. So my this is, I have selected the bar as sorry, graph as bar. Do you want a vertical, sorry, do you want a vertical bar or horizontal bar? So here the subtype I selected as vertical, and it's usually auto selected and it can be changed. After that, you have just like table layout, here we have a graph layout. The first thing is, I have selected two measures here, right? See, apart from represents and the number of suppliers and supplier sites, meaning measures. So we have 4 columns in total. I have taken out supplier type for prompt. The rest of 3, state, supplier number and supplier name, they are still present. I'm using um, vary color by option for measuring or representing 2 different measures with different colors. So we have 2 more here. So system currently it doesn't know what the error here. Once I selected bar, the error came. Why the error came was there are 3 columns. One is supplier, third one is state. Let me show it clearly. Yeah, so system doesn't know that which column to use for the group by. The first one is subtype, we gave as vertical. Second one we need to how do you want to represent it. So for suppliers I'll say one color, for supplier sites I'll say different color. 2 different colors would be used. The next one is group by. So group by, if you have multiple columns, so system doesn't know here that which particular column I need to do the group by for. So what I do is the output it goes to again. What we do is we click on supplier number here, meaning I'm excluding these 2 things, supplier name to the excluded, so that it doesn't come in the group by. So what does group by have? It only has state, right? Now as soon as I do, I remove these 2 columns, one number and name from the group by, and only one column is present in this in the group by, that is state. My error is gone, because now it on the basis of state. And supplier in the for the table as well, what we did was we moved the supplier type to brief manner. Okay, we'll see other the rest of the steps as well, and then we'll add filter. The next step is highlight. So I've used a column formatting here, add column format. Now you can use to add, like in the previous example I have shown how to add a column format on invoice amount. So here instead invoice amount we have 2 measures, the number of suppliers and number of supplier sites. So I have chosen, let's say, number of supplier sites. Okay, so here this is my column name. I'll have a threshold, meaning I'll give 2 values here, and I'll in the actions we'll select the colors. Okay, so for the supplier sites less than 1, let's say 10, I say 10, uh, the color would be shown, the values, all the values which have number of supplier sites less than 10 will be shown in red. uh, Ranging between 10 to 100 it will be shown in yellow. Let's say I am doing it 10, not 1. And ranging between more, it will be green. This is how it works. And in the actions you can change the color size. Red, I have selected red, yellow, green. We can select different things as well. After the last step is to save the analysis name and save it in the respective OTB and submit. What I can do is I can go to the folder location and click on under the analysis name I'll click on open, and the report runs. Now how does my report run here? Here I have selected prompt for as I'm selecting a particular prompt value here, meaning I offer for this particular report I have selected supplier type as prompt, meaning it will have like something like this, S type, and you have a value here. We have to select a value, it will have a drag down, and below here we have a table format. All the columns come here and you have a table format. So supplier type is already being used as table prompt, so it won't be shown here. Now what we have here is the rest of the stuff. Column for the table, what we have 4 columns: supplier number, supplier name, then we have supplier type, then we have number of suppliers and number of supplier sites. So this is my table. After that, because I have selected my layout as table above graph, so my graph would come down here below the table. So in the graph, I'm grouping by my graph based on state. So for, let's say, for in India, let's say I'm using Maharashtra, Arunachal Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, group by, okay, and this will be the axis for number of suppliers and number of supplier sites, both. This will be used for measures, okay. Now what I am trying to show here is I have two values to be shown, measures. I have two measures to be shown: suppliers, number of suppliers, and number of supplier sites. So for each state, for Maharashtra, I am showing let's say number of suppliers and number of supplier sites. For Andhra, I am again showing Arunachal Pradesh, I am showing again number of suppliers, number of supplier sites. So two values will be coming for each state. Again, each of them, like the number of, I have only one sketch pen, so I am using it. So let's say the darker one is in red color and the lighter one is in different color. So these two things will be shown in different colors for each of the state. This is how my total output looks like. Basically, I have taken excluded prompt for as supplier type, so I can select for that only particular supplier type here, one value, and only that output would be shown for that particular supplier type. And I am showing all the measures here, that is supplier, number of suppliers and supplier sites for each of the state that I have used for group by here. That's how my output looks like. Uh, Now I wanted to share one small thing here. We have discussed column style. Column style is basically, it deals with how my column would look like, or the font style, the background color, and etc. All this stuff. Uh, in the criteria tab, we go to selected column section and we have all the columns listed or dragged down there, and in front of each column we have a setting icon. So in the setting icon we go to column properties. In the column properties we have 5 tabs. First one is column style, second one is column format. We have seen column format before, how to do a column format here in the previous example. Now I am showing how to do a data format. Column style, column format, data format, conditional format also we have seen. Based on a particular condition, how the data should be represented, the formatting is changed. And the last is interaction, we will cover in the rest of the videos. So in the column properties, data format is basically used, like for example, as numbers. Okay, you can use decimals as well. Then we have, if you have negative values in a negative format, then we can use this as in parenthesis. The output might appear in a parenthesis form in red color. So something like this. How does the data appears? Then what are the number of decimal places after the decimal is on the right side? How many decimal places you want the output to be shown? Then what is my thousand separator? So basically deals with date, currency, then my decimals, then my thousand separators, um, etc. So all kind of data. Uh, the next thing is very small thing I wanted to just mention. So as we know, we in the tools in reports analytics, two options, one is to create and one is browse catalog. So just above the create button we have all folders, just every single thing, like all folders is present, like then we have, once you click on all folders we can go to my folders, share folders. We usually save all our stuff in the shared custom folder. Then for otbi reports I've created as like let's say otbi reports, all my reports would come. So in front of the reports we have a star option. So whenever you want to quickly access your report, not to like navigate, go into the navigation every single time, just star mark, just click on the star mark in front of the report and it will get added to the favorites. Also in front of the report name you have three dots, which gives, one is to view, meaning opening the report, another one is to edit, and another one is more. I don't know if you remember, whenever we want to access BI server we can click on more and we are in the BI server. Then this is a quick way to, instead of going to browse catalog and then searching for the reports in the thing, you can directly add to favorites. Okay, so the next one is, okay, before we start I wanted to uh, make a difference between two methods, BI composer and BI analysis editor. So basically whenever you want to do any simple analysis, create simple analysis, sorting section by highlighting any kind of data, prompts, where you want to create prompts, you can use BI composer. For more complex analysis, for creating formulas and drill down reports or drill through reports, we use BI analytics editor method. How do you use it? We go to tools, reports, analytics, we click on create. Because I'm creating it, let's remember it as I'm creating it from scratch, so I'm composing it, that's why the name BI composer. So create and then analysis. In this method I can search for my subject area, whereas if I'm creating through BI analysis editor, the method is in the BI analysis, I go to browse catalog, new, in the search for my subject, scroll for my subject area. Okay, then the here I can search, I cannot search my data element, like let's say I am searching for a particular um, what do you say, an attribute name, I cannot search it. I can search the analysis, search for my subject area but not for the elements. Whereas if I create through this method, tools, analytics, browse catalog, new, analysis, I can only scroll for subject area but I can search for my data elements. We have uh, we have a tool kind of thing open there in front of subject area. I can search for my uh, all my elements. I'll show how does it looks in the very first video. So once I click on a subject area, how this was my BI analysis editor method, tools, reports, analytics, browse catalog, then new, analysis. I'm scrolling for my particular subject area. Here I have taken payable, invoices, transaction, real time. Okay, once I click on this, now because I can use multiple subject areas, here by default, first of all the criteria tab is opened, and below just criteria tab the currently selected subject area name comes. Apart from that, there is a title called as, the name called as subject area is given here, and just beyond beside it there are four options. One is to search, one is to sort uh, the subject areas, another one is to add or remove the subject areas. Okay, there are four options present. So here I can also search for uh, my element name, meaning I can search for dimension name, I search for attribute name if I remember, or I can search for a fact, sorry, a measure name, just like the number of suppliers and all that. So I can search here, and just below this in the criteria tab, you have four tabs. By default, criteria is present. So in the criteria, you have a subject searching, sorting, adding, and removing. Just below that you have the subject area name, the current subject area name, or whatever you have selected, and just beyond this again, if I select multiple, then the second subject area name comes, then the third subject, all that. You can expand this here. um, this is how it works. So these are the major four differences for all the complex formulas like drill down, drill through. So drill, as I mentioned, drill through is going from navigating from a analysis to a web page, application web page. Drill down is nothing from a summary to detailed report, that kind of thing. And for both, we use for any we select any one column, and each of the column values will act as a link, and we click on that column value entry will act as a link, and as soon as we click on link, either it goes to another report or the application web page. How it is created, how I can search for subject areas if it's created, how I can scroll for it if it's not, then how I can search for data elements. I cannot search for here, but whereas I can search for here. So these are the basic differences between BI Composer and BI Analysis Editor. BI Composer again is called as Wizard sometimes, so it's fine, both are same. Now we are trying to create, so there are different names, some call it as action link framework. Action link is nothing but it's basic like a hyperlink we are trying to create in each entry of the column in one report, which will act as the navigation link or to navigate to the another web page or another report. So we'll because it's a drill through report, we'll be calling application fusion application form through the OTBI report output. So I'll just read through it, what does it does, and then we'll see a practical for it and which offerings can do those things. Like not all offerings offer the drill through functionality. Only certain offerings have in certain releases they have this functionality. So OTBI ad hoc report output can have any column output on which user can click to get Fusion application real time data. This will open an application web page. For example, invoice number. Every entry is an application web hyperlink. So and it can be done in certain modules or offerings only and actions only. Not all actions or not all offerings or modules offer this functionality. These are few examples, like in payable invoices and payments. You have view invoice details, view payment details, edit invoice, create payment. In general ledger journals, you have edit journal. In fixed assets, you have view asset details, transactions, and depreciation journals, all these actions. In receivables, you have all these actions mentioned. So I just made a note of it, but I already have a document on this, that which so these all actions and all modules provide this drill through functionality only up to release 13 update 18b. the rest of the uh, releases, I think more actions and uh, more modules would be added. I am not aware of those. So I can provide the how to do this functionality and how to do the settings and which are uh, the things to do. I have a document on this, and I'll be saving it in the Google Drive for you guys to refer. Um, Now again, for there is a one more subledger accounting journals. You can view journals entry. For this action you can do from a report output for a particular column entry value. uh, you can use the journal entry. You will just directly be opening the application web page of this. So here important thing to note is that the target application web page, whatever we will be opening after clicking entry, it uses a URL format and it accepts certain parameters for different modules. The host name need to be changed in the URL format. So you have a particular URL format, and whatever host name you have, that needs to be changed, first thing. Second thing, it accepts certain parameters. So this is the format of that parameters. We will be, once we do the settings and stuff, once we see the practical, I'll be showing those. We can change these parameters. So for payable invoices and payments, uh, you have three parameters, and it changes in accordance to these names change in accordance to the module or the action, respective action. uh, for example, for AP, like for payables, it's AP view invoice, and you have view, this is same. Then you have invoice ID. So only particular column can be used for doing the drill through reports, and only that column should be used. So here I am taking one different values, like these things need to be done. Like for fixed, is it fixed, is it hidden, is it optional, for all these things. And these are the YYYNNN values. We'll see how does it work. So there is a practical, all this data is already present in a document which I'll share in the uh, Google Drive. First thing first, we will start the practical for this. We'll go to tools, reports analytics, and create analysis. We'll search for the subject area. Here I'm taking payable invoices, transaction real time. Okay. Once I search for this, we'll go to continue. We'll select the columns here. For in payables invoice transaction real time, I am going to invoice details. Then in general information, I am selecting invoice ID, invoice number, invoice date, supplier or party name, supplier or party site. Then in invoice amounts, I am selecting invoice amount, amount paid, invoice amount paid. So these are like few columns I have selected. After that, we'll go to views. I'll give the title name. I'll select table as table. Then I have not taken a graph here. For the layout, table above graph. Again, I make sure the checkbox preview it is checked. Then we'll go to next. In edit graph, um, uh, just a second. Okay, in the edit graph, because I have not taken it, it won't show because I have taken it as none. Then we have sort and filter. We can add one sorting, as I have taken invoice ID based on ascending, and I am added a filter. I have not added a filter again. I have taken, just navigate through it, and I have created in the highlight section, in the next section. I haven't taken column format. I'm saving the analysis name. The last step is to save. So first was selecting column, second is, where is it? Selecting views, selecting columns first, and then editing graph. Sorry, editing, there should be edit table here somewhere. This is not edit graph, this is edit table. This is edit table. Then edit graph doesn't come here because I haven't selected the graph. This is none. And then sort and filter. Then the next is highlight, where I can do the column formatting. The last is to save the analysis name, in particular OTBI reports location. Now once this is done, we'll go to submit, and my analysis will be created. Now what I need to do for creating a hyperlink. So as I've seen in the document which I've shared, it's given like, for this particular module or offering, payable invoices and payments, view invoice details action can be done, or this, for viewing invoice details, this web page can be opened once I click on an entry of invoice ID. So I am taking invoice ID. So I have, in the selected columns, I have taken invoice ID, right? So in the criteria tab, first of all we'll edit under the analysis name. My analysis is done. I have basically created a basic analysis, and under the analysis name just click on edit. After that, in the criteria tab, just you have all the columns in the selected area. Okay, so beside the invoice ID, go to column properties. We have seen this earlier. In the column properties, in the column format, there is an option to hide. So why am I hiding is, this actually customer doesn't need. If you want to show, then there is a requirement, then we can show, but invoice ID doesn't need to be shown in general, but it is required as the one of the parameters to be used as link in the hyperlink. So that's why we need invoice ID, but it doesn't need to be shown in the output. That's why I'm hiding it. How? Just, sorry, in the criteria tab, go to selected column section, click on setting, column properties, column format tab, and then hide. Now save it, and again go to, now initially we have seen that in the column properties there are 5 tabs. Once you click on this setting, there are 5 tabs which present. So among these, we have initially used column format for hiding this, right? So another one is interaction. I have previously mentioned, like once you click on setting, there are 6 options that comes. One of them is column properties. So you have column style, column format, conditional format, data format, and interaction. So interaction tab is what we used for creating a hyperlink. So in the interaction tab, again you have 2 things. First one is, for the primary interaction, you have primary interaction. First of all, you have a heading. You want to give a name for that. So you have a column heading for primary interaction. You can give its default drill is given, so you can rename it. And for the same primary interaction, value you need to select as action link. What we need to do important here is value. We need to select primary interaction value as action link. Once you select action link, click on plus, and there will be a box for creating a new action link. First of all, what do you want to show to the user? Like let's say, as soon as I go to navigate to invoice ID entry, view invoice details or look at invoice details, or what text you want to be shown as soon as you navigate to that entry, is this link text, view invoice details. In this case, I have written view invoice details. the action in this, as soon as I create, click on primary interaction value as action link and click on plus. The link text is this, what text to be appear, and action here to be taken is navigate to a web page. Here how do you select this? You have two options here, two different options. One is a running man kind of symbol plus, and another one is a running man kind of symbol, simply running man kind of symbol. So the one with plus, you need to select the one with plus here, and this, once you click on this, you have multiple options. Among them you need to select navigate to a web page. As soon as after that you have show link. Do you need to show link always, or do you need to show link conditionally? Meaning, do you want that link to appear only for certain values, let's say for invoice amount more than 20,000? Do you want to each entry to be working as a hyperlink, or you want each entry of the invoice ID to work as a hyperlink irrespective of a particular condition? So show link I have taken as always. We'll see how the conditionally thing also work. So as soon as you click on navigate to web page, another create new action page pops up. So in the create new action, you need to, here it's navigate to web page, right? So you need to give a URL. So first of all, for viewing the invoice detail action, we need to copy the URL. So in the document that I'll provide, you have a URL for that view invoice detail action. And in that URL, we need to replace, as I said, the host name with the default host name, whatever host name you are using in your URL of the. So just take the URL from your browser, replace the host name of the URL which is given in the document, and copy that URL and paste it here in URL. Once you click on navigate to web page, it will ask you for a URL. Near that URL, you need to replace the host name of your browser, like whenever your application is open. Fusion application is open. So let's say you have HTTPS something, this is the host name, then you have the entire link this URL is given in the document. This is how it looks. So create new action. As soon as you navigate or click on navigate to web page, a small dialog box opens, and here you have something for giving URL. So this is how you give the URL. After that, as I said, after replacing the URL, host name in the URL, you also have to give the parameters. So there is an option for define parameters just beside it in the in the dialog box. So define parameters, click on define parameters, click on plus, total 3 times. Give the value as, you can give name and prompt whatever you want. Give the value as AP view invoice, view, and here we need to select this downward arrow and select a column value. Which column value? We need to select invoice ID here. So for which, what do you need to write here? AP for payables, what do you need to write for general ledger? All these things are given in the particular document that I'll share. For all the actions of every single module for which the drill through is available, and we need to as I in the document it was given as y by n, y by n, y by n. So you have check boxes here, so you need to check fixed and hidden for all the 3 and keep optional as it is. Once you click on check boxes, again we click on options. Here there is another one, clicking on options. So what do we do here? We click on options, a page opens, click on open in a new window. What does is, once you click, so you have already a report report output, once you run the report, you have a report output, and each entry invoice id here, entry of the invoice id is a hyperlink. So once you click on link, you need to the web page should be real time data of that particular invoice should be opening in a new web page. So for that, in the go to options, this is how it looks: url, define parameters and options. So click on options, then click on open in new window, just click on ok, ok, ok and save. Then go to results tab and see if the hyperlink is appearing for each entry of invoice number or not. Just a second. Yeah, sorry. Here internally we need to give invoice ID. As I said in the document, it was already given that for internally it takes an invoice ID, but externally you can create a link for any of the column. Initially what I did was I made the invoice ID hidden, okay, but I need to make sure that I need to select that particular column name which will be used in the settings for creating hyperlink internally. I need to select that. You can hide it using column format, and in the invoice number here I am creating an interaction, meaning internally it uses invoice ID, but externally you can create for each entry of the invoice number, right? So what does it does is it takes internally this invoice ID for only for tables one, right? For different these for general ledger it might take different, for assets it might take different column value, right? uh, so now once you go to results tab, the hyperlink appears for each entry of invoice number, and again you can check again from using the analysis, just below the analysis name you can click on open to run again. And okay, so once you click on open under the analysis name, my output opens, and every entry of invoice number, as soon as I go, let's say this is my output, I have clicked on open, each of them is a hyperlink, and as soon as I place my browser here, it should give me view invoice details, which I have given the name here. In the link text I have given view invoice details, so it should give me a pop text kind of thing, invoice details, and once I click on it, I should be able to open a web page showing the invoice details. So this is how it's done. You can see all the information here. I share the document which basically shows how to do it for different actions as well as modules till this version 13, release 13, update 18b. We will discuss other things like drilling down from or navigating from one master report to detailed report or summary report to detailed report, and how to add the return button once you go to another report, how to go back to previous report, and how to show the subtotal column wise, how to change this link from one column to another column, again how to do an conditional action link or this hyperlink that we have created, how to do it conditionally. uh, then again there is a column selector concept and few small things that are left, so we will discuss these things in the rest of the lives. Thank you.